It wasn't difficult for me because I also decided to to let me see how would I put it. I wouldn't say I decided so much as I questioned how I was living and my beliefs and my goals and all of that. And I looked into other ways of living, ways that were not presented in the culture. And so I had read early. Well, there was a guy, philosopher named Joseph Campbell, who had was on PBS. And there was a series of lectures that he gave on PBS, and I found him interesting. One of his sayings was "Follow your bliss," and that sort of struck a chord with me as to where to, as to what to aim for and how to live. I mm, okay. I uh, I wondered what he meant by bliss. What is bliss? It's a word, a term I've heard, but never really had any idea of what it was about. So I looked it up and tried to find out what bliss was, and it's an exalted state of happiness. So the other thing was follow your bliss. So that put it, for me, it put it on an individual basis. My bliss as opposed to your bliss or someone else's bliss. Could be different, usually is different. And so I looked around to find examples of blissful living in the culture, in what was presented to me in the culture, and I couldn't find it. So then I started to find where other examples of bliss, or a state of being comparable to bliss. And the only things I could find were in mythology or religion. And those were paradise, heaven, nirvana, Eden. They all share the same characteristic of happiness. The one thing they share is in any of them, in paradise and Eden and it all, there's no want. All your needs are met. So you want for nothing, which is what makes it paradise. Mosquitoes, which is what makes it blissful or heaven. And in the culture, in American culture, all of those things are in the hereafter. They're not to be experienced here and now. In American culture, in Western civilization, I would say, any kind of happiness, real blissful happiness, is not in culture. In order to have paradise, in order to have a Garden of Eden, in the Bible, when God made Eden, he made it so that Adam and Eve wanted for nothing. Everything was provided for them. They didn't have to work. They didn't have to do anything. They just didn't want. There was no want. And paradise is the same way. Nirvana is the same way. They all share this quality of lack of want. That's the one thing they all have in common. But in American culture, in our culture, want is everything. We live to want. We want to live. And, you know, if you say to someone, "I don't want anything," then you're considered crazy or something's wrong with you. You have to want something, something material or anything, but you have to, and continually in a state of want. So I said, and I said, well, in order to follow my bliss, if I want to be in a blissful state, then I have to eliminate wants. And wants are totally within my control. What I choose to want or not to want is totally under my control. So I decided to start with the things that I have absolute control over and work my way out from there. The first thing is my body. What I wanted with my body was good health, perfect health if possible. Okay? And once I achieved that, my next step was to create a place where I could be physically comfortable. And once I achieved that, then, so I'm eliminating all the wants in my life to try to get as close to bliss, what is my bliss, as possible. Now, lack of want, not wanting anything.
But I mean, like in terms of visual, like what would that be for you? You imagine a day, perfect bliss in your life, or?
Yeah, a day of perfect bliss is having no aches or pains, having no physical problems, no health problems. Okay? Spending it in a place where I visually I like, okay? Where I'm comfortable physically, so I can relax, where I can enjoy nature, because nature is one of the things that I enjoy, where I can spend my time doing what I want rather than working. That would be bliss for me.
So a lot of it, and you talk about want as almost being a controlling factor in society as a limit to freedom, possibly. It's
Want is not a controlling factor in society. Want is society. The culture is based on wanting. That's it. The only way to exist in our culture is to want.